Are you ready?
Starting now?
Now you just messed it up, you knob. God, you know that the shit that we go through for this, huh?
I know. Fuckers better appreciate it. When we started, we were just like, yeah, we're just going to do this, man. You know, shoot our wad into the wind and see what happens. What's the title of this podcast again?
I don't know. I don't know. Something with a penis, I guess.
Right.
Our fucking faces are everywhere now.
Right.
But
you're welcome, ladies.
Right. Popular with the ladies. Right. Oh, I'm not even going to apologize because hopefully it sounds fucking hilarious.
Yeah, totally. This is fucking explicit now.
The explicit button. Let me use my finger.
La, 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 la.
It is time for another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And that episode starts now. All right, everyone. Welcome once again to another episode of Sober, Not Mature. And Friday night, week before a Mexican vacation for you, huh?
Yep, absolutely, man. To quote Cosmo Kramer once again, pointing to my head up here, I'm already gone.
Yeah, well, I mean, considering how the weather has been terrible, but
right.
hell of a lot nicer, I'm sure, in Mexico right now. So
yeah, it's about 80 degrees. You know, not that I've been checking or anything.
If I would check every damn day until I got there, and then just ignore everything. So
right. Yeah, that's pretty much the plan.
So there's like three things. One I had written down, two that came up. Like I got a whole page full of shit, but I'm going to give you a list of three things. You tell me where you'd like to start with. So we have not even potentially, like I'm going to call it disgruntled follower. That's number one.
Oh, right.
We have, of course, the individual that relapse that we can talk about. And
right.
then also I got to deal with some literal shit. So choose.
Oh, nice. Yeah, actually, I've got some good news too, but you know what? Let's go with disgruntled follower.
All right. So, and actually, let me see how long we've been recording. A minute 20. Okay. So I use this opening like in our first trailer and stuff like that. And I was thinking about that. I was going to start to tell the story, and then I'm going to cut off the clip right before I do. Then the fuckers actually have to listen to the episode rather than just the clip. So. All right, so this you remember the post I had earlier this week? I think it was Monday about do the work, don't be fucking lazy, or do the fucking work, don't be lazy, whatever it was.
Right.
You saw that, which
I try to live it.
Right. I know. And when I saw it, I don't know what I was looking up, but I saw it. I'm like, this is fucking perfect. And you know what? We got a lot of really good comments on people like, fuck yeah, that's great. Exactly.
Right.
All this different stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So this one guy, and again, I clearly a follower of ours, but nobody that we've dealt with on a regular basis, but and I'm not going to name them or anything. It's not about that, but so his comment was not very motivational, with kind of like a flat mouth emoji, and then IMO. So of course, in my opinion. So I just replied to it and laughed because I'm thinking, I thought he was being funny like the rest of our followers. It's like it's a non-motivational saying.
Sure.
So he comes back and he says, interesting, a page for sobriety, yet laughed at. Not very supportive. Moving on. Have a good day. So that was his comment. So in my head, first of all, I'll tell you what I wanted to say and what ran across my head right away.
Yeah.
My first thing I thought was, "Fuck you. What do I care?
Right.
Go.
Right.
Enjoy. Have a great fucking life." Okay. Yeah. But what I said, and I don't know. I'm just going to read it. You tell me if I might have been snarky. I don't know.
All right.
But I said it's a meme and a joke. And if you've either listened to our podcast or spent any time reading through the other posts on our page, you'll see that we have a hell of a weird sense of humor, but we're very serious about recovery. And most importantly, we're not for everyone. We do appreciate the comment, and we wish you the best. Exclamation point, smiley, and sunglass emoji. So, well, you caught my sarcasm there. When we wish you the best.
Right.
But I was just kind of like, to begin with, seriously, my first thought was, fuck you, but
right.
But here's the funny part. We've talked about it before, and I think even on, we don't get as much activity on Facebook, and I know that you're not active, that much on Instagram. But
right,
with
like
right, I know. I was trying to give you just a hair of credit that you might pop in once in a while.
No. I got to be honest, man. No, not really.
Well, you don't have to be honest, but it helps, right?
That certainly helps. Yes.
But so, but you see all the weird shit that's posted, even, like, again, the music.
Yeah, Chris I catch most of it.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, because it goes to Facebook, and I catch most of it. Yeah.
Right. And, to begin with, when we first started this page, and I'll be honest with you, I was timid with it. I was even timid posting things close to like 12-step things, because I'm like, I don't know what type of audience we have. I would post certain things, but not make it specific to AA. And then we started talking more about it. So both of us are like, fuck it, let's do what we want.
Right.
But the same thing with these, with the memes and stuff like that, I'm still mindful. There are still, surprisingly enough, or imagine that, there's still things that I look at, I'm like, I can't post this.
Right. Sure. Yeah. There's a little bit of a filter. It's pretty thin, but it's there.
Yeah. It's still, I have half a brain and half a filter still, but the reason I started posting more of this stuff is that we actually get a lot of compliments on some of this weird stuff, but we still post about recovery, so, and like we were talked about, we just don't get negative feedback from people, and that wasn't negative. I give the guy credit at least for having the nuts to say something. That's fine. But he could have just unfollowed and went on with his life, also. But
no, that's not what the internet's for.
right. Like a guy I used to work with years ago at one of the companies used to call people some of the people we're talking to, because again, collection agency setting, so people who owed money, they talk all this shit saying they're going to come down and kick somebody's ass and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
So he always referred to those people as telephone tough guys.
Right.
You know, so that's what this is. These are like
keyboard courage.
I like that. I don't think I've ever heard that before. I was just going to say internet tough guys because I don't know. I heard a term, but keyboard.
Right. Keyboard courage. It's not mine. I've heard it.
No, that's good though. I mean, I never thought about that. So that's actually kind of funny. But again, I mean, more power to them. We're not for everyone, and clearly, and we'll say this openly. The same thing as we said about the dude in the plastic, the rubberized suit thing.
Right.
The pickle guy.
Right.
Latex. Yeah, the guy in the latex suit with his ass up in the air. If you can't handle that, and certainly if you can't handle us saying that, don't be fucking lazy, do the work, or do the work, don't be fucking lazy.
Right.
You're in the wrong place. And, we appreciate that you've listened for the first, 8 minutes or 6 minutes, whatever we've been.
Sure.
So you might want to turn it off because it's probably not going to get any better.
Exactly. And I've heard somewhere, it works if you work it. So work it because you're worth it.
Right, and you're got to hold hands while you're doing that too, because that's what all the. Well, you were in. Did we do that, or the meeting that we went to in Mequon? Of course, hugging and a little bit softer AA and all that stuff. But did we do the circle? That I think we
probably. I don't know.
Yeah, I just thought things like that kind of got burned into your head, because I think they did that in Wisconsin. The first time they did that in a meeting when I first moved back to Madison, I'm just like, oh my God.
Right. Right.
Because we didn't do that in Cleveland, So, but
well, yeah, exactly. Well, and you got to remember, I was introduced to the program out in California, which was really soft and really touchy feely, and imagine that it didn't work all that well for me. Of course, I didn't work it either, but yeah. So I learned if I work it, it works.
Right. Well, and that's it really goes along with a lot of the sayings and stuff like that. Whether it's recovery or AA based or whatever the deal is, it is true. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, if you don't put in the work or the effort. Pick anything. It's not
exactly
work. So, I don't think the recovery community or 12-step meetings, they didn't invent it. They use it.
Absolutely right.
In kind of a goofy way, but they sure as hell didn't invent it. That's for damn sure.
Right.
So yeah, that was probably I don't want to say the only person, but that's probably one of the few people that we've had that stepped up and said anything about anything we post. So
Right.
one way or the other, we've got all of our normal group of followers, our community, the people who listen and stuff like that. All you guys are fucking awesome. Stick around, keep doing what you're doing. We love you guys. I mean, you guys are wonderful. And when one person pops up, it actually gives us, I don't know, 9 minutes of conversation. So it's fine.
Exactly. So thanks.
Yeah, exactly.
You lazy fuck.
Don't do the work. Be fucking lazy. See what that gets you. So what's your good news?
Oh, well, our friend Keith, Car Wash Keith.
I do.
Yeah. Well, he bought the car wash 2 weeks ago.
No shit.
Yeah, I went through there today, and I was shooting shit with him a little bit, and he's all, "Yep, as of 2 weeks ago, I am now the owner." I mean, he's been managing that place for 20 years,
right?
And yeah, I was just like, I had no inkling. He hadn't said anything to me prior to that. He said it took him like 6 months to deal with it all and get it to all go through and all that stuff. But yep, he is the proud owner of the car wash in Lakewood, Ohio.
That's cool, man, because
yeah.
Well, I knew he worked there. So he worked there prior to getting in the Keating Center, then clearly if it's been 20 years.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah,
I didn't know that. I didn't know did he do you know, I don't even know who the owner of that was, but did he know the owner, or how did he ever get into that? Or okay,
that originally I don't know, but I mean, again, he's been managing the place for a long time, and I guess the owner was getting ready to retire, and Keith bought it.
That's cool. Well, yeah. First of all, they do a nice job. They're reasonable as far as their pricing, and they're in a great location. So,
right.
And they, again, it's in these days too, that even to try to find a car wash around here, that you can go through and actually have them, towel dry your car,
right?
Because it's still it's your basic drive-through type of car wash that you go like at a gas station, but it's better. The insides, obviously, what they do are better, but then they actually wipe down your car. They do detailing. They can do all that stuff there. So, man, that's great. That's awesome. Yeah. That's really cool.
So that was, it was. I was just like, wow, it made me feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Right. Well, and again, I mean, he's had his ups and downs throughout that time frame, and always and that's why I said and I guess when I said that if he knew the owner, I didn't know if he knew the owner like prior to the time he worked there, if he just like walked in one day and said, "Hey, I need a job."
Right. Yeah. That I don't know.
But I mean, he's had his ups and downs, and he kept that job the entire time. So, I mean, that in and of itself, I mean, he was fortunate. I mean, we can say that at least. But man, that's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always got to throw in, and most of the guys he hires there, most of them are usually early recovery. He gets them in there and gives them a job and puts them to work, and hey, they do the work,
right?
Get the results,
right?
So there we go.
Yeah, little full circle to doing the work. The only thing that I guess what I just thought about when you said that is that the old location, so everyone knows, for the Keating Center was literally right around the corner from there.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, what do you think in city blocks? It was like what 6-7 blocks, if that?
Yeah, something like that. Right. Yeah, 10-minute walk.
Yeah, so it was walkable for these guys, but now it moved. But I'm sure. I mean, one way or the other. I mean, he's done, or the car wash, whoever the owner was in that car wash in general. I mean, how many people I can think of a handful right off the top of my head that we know that worked there. There was Joe, Carter, and Keith right off the bat. Those are the ones that I know of for sure. And then some of these.
And guess who was at the end of the tunnel wiping my car down today? Carter.
I was going to say must have been Carter.
Yep.
Yeah, you know what? It's been a long time since I've seen him, but actually it's been you and I went through the car wash. Was that the last time I was in town? I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think
or the time before.
Yeah, when for Chris's dad's service.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. So whatever it was, but I hadn't been through there. I hadn't been through in a while because usually when when I'm out there, we're kicking around. I used to stop by there all the time and get my car washed, but I don't think I've taken my car through there in a while. But certainly not since I've had this one, and I've had it almost 2 years. So, But yeah, that's very cool. Like you said, nice, warm, fuzzy feeling to see a guy that not only we've known, from pretty much from day one, and watched him work his way through that. That's awesome.
Yep.
Super cool.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So I wanted to share that with everybody.
Oh, that's cool. But I mean, when you see him next time, just tell him I said congratulations too. I mean, if I don't see him, I definitely will. So I know you're in there more than I am.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm in there at least a couple times a month, if not more.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Speaking of which, my car's fucking filthy right now too. But
mine at the moment is clean.
Well, it was raining here today though. So you said you were doing yard work though. Was it actually nice there?
Yeah, it was 40 degrees, but the sun was out, and I had more leaves to clean up. Ugh. And I'm feeling it today, man. I got to hire a gardener. I'm getting too old for this shit.
Yeah, you know what? If and it's funny, there was these kids that because when the leaves and stuff started to fall at Kathy's here. I mean, there's obviously a lot of trees around in neighbors' yards and just hers or whatever. There's these kids from the neighborhood that come around during the summer and wanted, to see if she needed any help in yard work, and just timing didn't work out because we were always helping out mom and stuff like that. But I told her, I said, hey, these kids come knocking on the door again. I'm like, I said, I'll throw in $20, man. They should help clean up these leaves, which Kathy mainly just did the front yard and stuff like that. I think you saw when you were here at Thanksgiving. I mean, there was still leaves on the driveway and in the side yard because things that we just, never got to. But but yeah, same deal. I mean, there's got to be kids in the neighborhood that would do that stuff for you.
I don't know. I think they mostly go with our disgruntled follower.
Get somebody from the Keating Center. Walk in there with a 20 and say, hey, come here.
Yeah, I know. And I actually did last year. I think at one point I got a guy to come over and help me out. But yeah, today was just cleaning up, and third time this year. Hopefully the last time this year.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and I took a half day today and went over because we have the staging. The people who are going to do the estate sale are coming over to Mom's tomorrow, and basically the rule with that, which makes sense, because they start physically advertising with pictures and stuff as of after they do this tomorrow. But they're like basically anything you want out of the house, you got to get out of it. You can't take anything after tomorrow,
right?
Which again, we understood that, but there was just a couple of things that I had to do and finish up and whatever. And then this is leading into my shit story, by the way. So this was this was a nice segue. Your yard work to me working at Mom's to this. So
okay.
But I had to call it out. It was going so smoothly, and I had to point it out. but anyhow, so I get back and I'm bringing some of this stuff, and I didn't have too much stuff, but I'm bringing the stuff in the house, and I came in through the garage and then opened up the front door and just propped that open and was coming in the front door. And usually Katniss and Tugger are in the cage downstairs. There's a little corral, down in the kitchen. And I know it was Tugger. I can tell their barks apart, but it was Tugger just giving me this like rup, 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 rup. And I'm like, stop it. It's just me, man. And it's like I'm walking in and out and he says rup, 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 rup. So I'm like, Jesus Christ, dog, come on, enough.
Right.
So I finish it up. I close the door. I go pull my car and I come in through the garage and I walk into the kitchen. And literally in my head, I'm like, God, what is that? Then out loud, nobody's there. I think Caleb was here, but he was upstairs. But I'm like, it smells like shit in here. I mean, literally, it smells like shit. And then Tugger's like, burp, 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 burp. I look over and there's a fucking pile of shit inside the cage.
Nice.
And I'm like, well. So, boys and girls, this is a pretty good example. This first thought that I'm not cured yet, because my first thought was, is there any way that I can ignore that and not have to clean it up? Now, again, fleeting thought, couple of seconds, but I just, I'm like, oh. Took off my coat, went and grabbed a roll of paper towels and the Clorox wipes, and I made sure they got out without stepping on stuff, and like wiping, and I'm gagging, and I'm just like, this is fucking terrible. Got it all cleaned up, and then it was the reason I think it was Katniss is because I was telling Kathy this when she got home. She like immediately went under the table, kind of like cowering under the table. And Tucker was under one of the chairs, but he's kind of peeking out. So I'm like, I think I know who did it, because you know they know better. But I mean, I didn't yell at him. I wanted to make sure everything's cleaned up, make sure they were cool. But yeah, so I cleaned up my first mess of dog shit in a while. And Kathy's laughing when she got home. She's like, I am so sorry. I'm like, it is what it is. But yeah, it was a true thought. I never would have done it, but just is there any way?
Right. Is there any way I can get out of this? Nope.
And there wasn't. And I'm like, maybe I should call her. And I'm like, no, because then she'll just feel bad. I'm like, what? I was going to call her and tell her, because I'm like, I'll tell her when she gets home, because it wasn't for any other reason, but just to say, hey, one of your dogs, it's unlike them, but
sure.
Then later on, I've started thinking about it. I'm like, have I been a decent person lately? So I'm like, what is this payback for? And I'm like, I've been doing good. I was doing good today. I haven't done anything. I'm pretty honest when I'm.
So basically, you're saying you were looking for your part in it.
I actually was. No, well, more so looking for, why did I deserve that?
Okay.
Why is karma coming back at me? Which is fine. Again, do good, get good. If I did bad, then I got to clean up dog shit. I mean, I'm fine with it. But I honestly sat back and I'm like, is there a reason? I'm sure there was. I've done plenty of things.
Sure there was, right?
Yeah. Well, first of all, in my life, but easily in the last, because I'm sure I block out any nasty shit that I do. So, but yeah, I figured there was probably some reason why it happened. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, whatever. So you did the work, you cleaned it up, and I suggest you give yourself some ice cream tonight.
You know what? We're in kind of a dangerous mode right now. There's one Klondike left. Just one.
And
Kathy last night, she's like, are you gonna eat that? I'm like, you can eat it. I've got Heath bars upstairs if I want chocolate. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna eat it. But she's like, I'm just wondering about for tomorrow. And I'm like, well, whatever, man. So yeah, I may go ice creamless, but that's okay. It's
all right.
It's not like I don't need ice cream. I feel like I do, but I don't necessarily need it. But anyhow.
Right.
So yeah,
you had the shit, so then you can have some ice cream.
All right. So on my list we have disgruntled person, Keith's car wash, and dog shit. And you think I'm joking? I do. You remember I told you this like 20 episodes ago. I do. I number all these things that we talk about now, because then I can build our episode descriptions. So I keep all this shit down. So I've got a whole list full of stuff. Do you want to talk about the relapse thing, or is it about the individual, or no?
I mean yeah. Do
you think it's an important topic?
It's certainly been on my mind.
Okay, then yeah, it's been on my mind too. To begin with, I'm like, yeah, we should fucking talk about it. Fuck it. But then I'm like, is it right? So I wanted to ask you. So, just so everyone knows what we're going to do, and Mike and I texted about this the other day, about possibly talking about it, but we're not going to use a name. We're not going to explain exactly who the person is. What the easiest way to explain it? Somebody who's very close to both of us. Would that be an easy enough thing?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the short story, and I'll try to make this part short, but I mean, I had some feelings about it. And you just said it's been on your mind. So the short story is the individual that we're going to talk about, original sobriety date was 9 years and 3 months ago. Okay. And there was no reason in the world up until about a year ago that we would have thought anything outside of that. Technically 2 years ago, and I'll bring that up in a second, but we found out within the last 6 months that apparently a year ago in December, that this person had drank and had an incident where it was clear and all that sort of stuff. And his wife is the one that had mentioned it. So, but I didn't hear it directly at that point. I think it was from his sister, not his wife. So again, it was just kind of a rumor thing, but
there was concern.
Right. And what we were always taught in those circumstances, if we hear something, what are we supposed to do?
We are supposed to wait and see, man. It's up to that person to tell on themselves, just like it's up to us. If we fuck up, we've got to tell on ourselves.
Right. So I think that's the main thing through all of this is that that's one of the I think, and I think you'll agree, that's one of the hardest things, especially when you know for sure, and when it is somebody close to you.
Right.
And again, using the word deserve is not the right way to put it, but when we know that the person knows better on what they're supposed to do, and then the person knows that we know and they don't come forward, then it's like, what the fuck? And ultimately, that's what ended up happening. The thing last December was true. I ended up talking to the individual's wife right before I came down here, so like 6 months ago, and it happened again at least once, if not twice, in that time frame. So we knew it happened for sure. And this person's wife had not only reached out to our sister, because this is a friend of all of ours. Not only reached out to our sister, but specifically told this individual that, hey, Bill knows, Mike knows, you should reach out to them. Mike's right here in town, Bill, whatever. So this individual knew that we knew. So it's like, cat's out of the bag. All the person would have to do was, okay, here, fucked up. Here it is. Need some help.
Pick up the phone.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. And that didn't happen. So apparently, I don't know, what was it, earlier this week when we were getting all the messages? So whatever.
Yeah. Few days ago.
Yeah. So whatever day it was, again, it happened again, or has been happening, but this one was bad. And, all this different stuff was told, this person was told to leave his house and this and that and blah, 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 back and forth. But then we come to find out that, this 9 years and 3 months, it's not even the last year that apparently, 3 months in,
it's been going on for a long time. Yeah.
Like 9 fucking years.
Right.
And this was admitted to by the person to his wife,
right?
So at this point, it's not hearsay, it's nothing. It's these are all facts, and that's the part that blew my fucking mind, because we know that that he took a trip, and there was a question mark about not about what would happen, but the preparation for the trip, kind of like you going to see, Alice Cooper. Are you going to be okay? You talk to your sponsor. This person did all of that stuff, and everyone thought that he came back, and I think we think he was still within the Keating Center at the time that he started up again, right? So from what we're hearing, But so that's the part that kind of blew my mind, that the 9 year thing. I mean, I don't know. Tell me, you said it's been on your mind too. That's the short story. That's what we know. Oh, apparently, he checked himself into a place today, but I'll more on that in a minute. So go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and I understand it because I've been there. I've been in the confines of a recovery situation and been drinking and using and lying. And, you get that wonderful circle of shame and guilt, and, you can't stop. And I understand that. I completely do. It's the big book says, man, we can't go drag him off the bar stool.
Right.
We've got to let the clown finish his show.
Right.
And, unfortunately, well, again, big book, man, jails, institutions, and death. Those are the only outcomes of that show. And apparently he's back in an institution. Yeah, it sucks, man. It2cks. The wife you talked about, she's one of us too. She is in recovery. She's been sober for a long time. That almost makes it worse,
right?
That he has the knowledge of what he's doing to her. And again, who fucking cares? When you're in that mode, when you're in that selfish and self-centeredness, the pain that we cause to other people, no matter how horrendous, doesn't fucking matter. And shit, man, Marty's lying, man. I hope he pulls his head out of his ass. Cause we know he's a good guy. We know he's a good person. We know he can do this. If he does the work.
Right.
Yeah. I know it's tough to dance around this in this forum and not, get real personal about it. But once again, we're not hurting anybody but ourselves. We affect other people when we do the things that we do, and shit, man, it's affecting you and me, and we're not even all that close to it.
Right.
Not really.
Right.
Yeah. You know what, kids, man, do the next right thing. Be a good boy, because the alternative really blows.
Right. Well, and like you just said too, and that's why, the more and more I thought about it, that's why I'd asked a couple of minutes ago before we started is, do we really want to talk about this? Because you just hit the exact nail on the head of saying that it's hard for us to, this conversation can be had without being like super specific, but
right.
And again, just so everyone knows, this is somebody that's extremely close to both of us, and and to our sister, and all that sort of thing, and and here's the other thing too. So when I talked to, and I know you know this, but when I talked to his wife back in June before I came down here, because we were going back and forth in texts, and she's like, let me get a minute when the kids aren't around. There's kids involved too. When the kids aren't around, and I'll give you a call. And it was actually on the day that I was moving down here, so it was kind of funny, but I took the time and I talked to her. And the first question that I asked, and she wasn't offended by it, but I said, hey, well, first I said, hey, how you doing? Doing okay. It's been tough, but this. And I said, okay, I have to ask you this question, but you're not thinking about joining them, are you? And she's like, oh, hell no.
Right.
And I said, so you're talking to your people, your sponsor, your group? And she said, yep, I've been involved with all of them. They all know what's going on. And I said, okay. But I said, I needed to ask you that, right? She's like, of course, But that's the thing. She wasn't offended by it because she knows this. What
again, she's one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, she knows the deal. Right.
Yeah, because if she would have even hesitated on that, then then there's another phone call after that to make sure those kids are taken care of, because and that's the line that just, and again, this is how Mike and I think, and we would think about the same thing for us. So first of all, we've already made it very clear that if Mike or I ever start to drink it again, use it again, whatever the deal is, reach out, ask for help. If not, you got to fucking go. But then there's that second layer. Then there's the family, because Mike and I, we're family now, no better way to put it, right?
Right.
And it's a fact. So then if I start drinking, just because it's here's my air quotes, my biological family, Mike is, would feel the same obligation, responsibility to our family as I would. So then he'd have to make sure that I don't fuck with people, and that's the same thing.
Damn right.
And I know that. And you know what is weird at that is that sounds, that's so fucking comforting to me. It is.
Oh, absolutely.
It's because I know that, granted, I know I'd be hurting other people and things like that, but I also know I don't plan on drinking today. But if I do, I know that you're going to do whatever you can, and you're going to fight for this family. And that to me is that's beautiful. That's a relationship that Mike and I have, and the same thing with me asking, again, this individual's wife that question.
Right.
But
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and same thing, man. I mean, Bill would be here for my daughter and my granddaughter and my girlfriend, and it's about it for me. But yeah,
yeah. But those are three big people in your life, So yeah, no doubt. Absolutely, no doubt. So you know what? Let's since we got the initial part of this story out, let's take our quick little break here. So are you you in the mindset to lead us in with an? I'll give you the clean room there. So go ahead.
Right. Yeah. Well, no, I'm not in the mindset, but I will do it anyway. Imagine that. No, I don't feel like doing it, but it's the right thing to do, so I'll do it anyway. All right, we're going to take a little break here on Sober Not Mature. Please stay tuned for a word from our sponsor, and we'll be right back.
Hey everyone, it's your friends at Sober Not Mature. Have you visited our website lately? If not, it's www.sobernotmature.com. While you're there, you can listen to all of our episodes or find links to where our episodes can be played, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and others. We do have a blog page for some of the writings that we've done. We've got a web store where you can take a look at all of our merchandise, buy yourself a t-shirt or a hoodie, maybe even a mug. You can see our review section where you can actually leave a review or see what people have been saying about us. You can check out our sponsor page. We've got a contact page. Basically, any opportunities that we have to contact or interact with us are on our website. Also, you can buy us a coffee, or you can just find other ways to support the podcast. Visit us today at www.SoberNotMature.com. All right, welcome back. And that gave everyone at least a 60-second mental break to digest everything that we just spit out of our mouths. But yeah, so like to your point, like you just said, it's the fact that it makes it worse with his wife involved now. Because here's the other thing that she's dealing with is the fact that her thought right now is that I don't even know who this guy is anymore, because apparently,
right?
Well, not apparently. She met him. She's like a year. She's got a year. I think a year ahead of him. She was, and she is, but
sobriety wise, right?
So she got sober a year before his original sobriety date, and then he was 9 months.
Yeah, but they met in the rooms though.
Yeah. So I mean, she met him or met what she thought was a sober individual, and he wasn't. So I mean, that from her standpoint, it's just like, my God, it's just that. And again, like I said, to begin with, and you said it perfectly well, is that you understand. Now, I wasn't trying to get sober and still drinking, but I did. The appearance is that I was cutting down, but I was still drinking behind everyone's back. And specifically my wife at the time, my son's mom, and all that stuff. So I had a little bit of glimpse of that. But then the thing of it is to begin with, when I started hearing all this stuff, and again, the fact that it was bad enough if it was a year, but then I'm thinking 9 fucking years, because I immediately flashed back to all these different things. For the first 3 or 4 years, I went back there every year and spent his anniversary, with him.
Right.
Then,
I hadn't even thought of that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I gave him my coins. I did hand-me-down.
I know.
Hand-me-down coins.
I remember. Yeah. Now, yeah. I mean, that you say it, of course I remember.
And then, and then I think that when he led your home group and getting up there and congratulating him on how, committed and everything he was, just all this stuff. And it's like watching a movie and getting to the end of it and realizing that when you're flashing back through, you're like, holy fuck, none of that was real.
Right. Yeah. Right. Bruce Willis was dead the whole time.
that was the exact movie I was thinking of. Movie. But I don't know if I ever told you, I got a fun story on that movie, but real quick, let me finish my thought. But so that was that thing. So to begin with, I was mad and I was hurt, and then I'm like, fuck, man, what do we expect, man? This is what. And I was just telling Kathy that before, about a half hour before we get on here. I'm like, this is what we do if,
this is what we are.
Yeah. This is what we do if we don't do the fucking work and we're lazy. Let's keep going back to that meme, man. I'm going to post that meme.
Let's keep doing it.
Yeah. Do the fucking work, or this is what you get.
Right.
So, Mr. Man. No, that was the guy, disgruntled follower who I was doing the Mr. Man to. But
I know.
But yeah, but it is, and that's what I told Kathy. I'm like, because she's saying, well, this might be messed up. He can gain this back. I'm like, here's the thing. I said, if he does the work and if he humbles himself, because that's the other thing that his wife said, that he didn't want to go. He's going to, and I'm not going to name the place, but you may have heard where it is. But
Kathy told me. Yeah, it's the fancy place.
More of a country club type of. Probably 28 days stay than what we went through and what he went through.
Yep.
But I guess the idea is that he never felt like he fit in, or he had that above. He wasn't meant to be there. Which what I was telling Kathy was, I'm like, I was the same fucking way.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I'll be the first one to admit that, but
Right.
You know, I got humbled based on the circumstance, and there's a lot of reasons, you know, but I somehow in my head, thankfully, I stuck around and I listened and all those different things, and all those different things humbled me to the point where, and then you guys, all you guys, man, you know, everything that I thought, you know, that could happen or may happen by all you rough looking motherfuckers. I mean, it was a complete opposite. All you ever wanted to do was to help me, and that's what we do,
right?
You know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, but that's why I told Kathy, I'm like, if he doesn't do the work, he doesn't humble himself, that's going to be a fucking problem, you know, because that has to be what happened to begin with. I mean, clearly we know he was lazy. He didn't do the fucking work. Where did we hear that before?
Yep.
A meme.
Yeah.
But yeah, so seriously, I mean, to begin with, I was fucking pissed, and I was more hurt than I was pissed. But then I'm like, and it still bothers me a little bit, but like you said, I get it. You know, you said it exactly that way. I get it. You understand it. You've been there. I mean, what the fuck more can we say?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. Yeah. Of course we understand it. You know, well, that's the whole reason this fucking shit works is, you know, we understand it.
Right.
We've been there. We know what it is. And yeah, we know how to get out of it.
Right.
Yeah, I know, man. Again, you know, I hope, again, like you said, I hope he humbles himself. Because, yeah, you know what? The first time I met him, I walked into the Keating Center and he was there and I picked his ass out. I knew who he was. I hadn't seen a picture of him or anything. He was the guy that looked like he didn't belong there. You know, he looked like the guy who was from out of town. And yes, absolutely. Yeah. So, and he never lost that, unfortunately.
Right.
And here are the results of that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, again, I mean, I'll do anything I can, and I know we will do anything we can, but you know, the one thing, can I say one more, just like kind of hurtful thought that I have?
Absolutely.
I want my fucking coins back. You know, I mean, seriously, I want him to give those back, and I want to be able to tell the motherfucker, you need to earn these this time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And for anyone out there that thinks that's callous, fuck it. It is not. You know, because he took. And this is the reason that it bothers me. And again, I'll get over it. And I say I will, because it does have a little bit of a thing in my craw, whatever you want to call it. But those coins I fucking work for every day that I have, every day that we have, we work for. And I gave him basically what giving somebody your coin as a hand-me-down is a huge deal. It was something that we watched Tony give it to Larry, or Larry to Tony, or vice versa. We've seen somebody handed him down to Craig I. Let's not say his last name. You know, we've seen this happen. These guys handing these coins down, and it fucking means something, because you're giving somebody your hard work, something you earned, and you're saying, here, I want you to have this, you know? And
I know.
And seriously, a part of me, I was like, I want my fucking coins back.
I know. All right. Well, I'm going to throw this at you, and this is one that I learned from you. What we're going to do is we're going to hope that he still has them. We're going to hope that he gets his shit together, does the work, earns those, and gives them to somebody else.
Right. Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. You know, that's a great point. Yeah. Don't give them back. Yeah. Earn them and give them to somebody else.
Right.
There you go. Huh.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that even better.
Good. Right. Well, you know, the whole, when you, here's my air quotes, loaned Bob some money, and and you said, no, go give it to somebody who needs it more than you.
And you know what? When you were telling that story, that's the exact story I was thinking of. This is just stupid. I mean, I mean, first of all, the 6 cents, and now the Bob stories. And what that was is that, I gave him money to go buy coffee. That was our coffee fund, and somebody else had bought it, so he just pocketed my money rather than buying the coffee.
Right.
And that's what, he was going to give the money back. I'm like, no, you go give it to the Keating Center. And then I remember somebody saying that. They're like, what if he's not going to give that to him? I'm like, fuck him, man. That's karma.
Right.
That's his karma that's going to come back on him.
Right. Now it's his responsibility, right? You did the right thing, and now it's up to him to do it. And if he doesn't, that's his fucking problem.
Right. But
your side of the street was clean.
Exactly. And there's not many times in my life that I appreciate having things like that thrown back in my face. But that was what I appreciated. First of all, that you remember that story, because it involved coffee. It had nothing to do with you.
Not a damn thing.
But the story and the point behind it had everything to do with us and what we were taught at that time. And shit, we were
right.
How were a year and a half sober at that time that we.
Yeah, if that. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a year on us, I think. But so.
He had more than that.
Really? I mean, a year on us, a year more than us, doesn't he? Or is it 2?
Yeah, no, I think it was 2.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Okay. I can never remember.
He'd been around for a while.
Yeah, it might be 2 years. It could be 3 for all I know. I don't remember. I just,
right. I know it was a lot.
Right.
Well.
But yeah, so that's a good point. That's a good point. So, okay, cool.
Yep.
You know what? I mean,
I
was going to say surprisingly enough, but not surprisingly enough. Yeah. I feel better after talking about this, which is one of the reasons that I wanted to begin with, but I just wasn't sure. But I'm glad we did, because it's something that, I don't know, other people out there, sooner or later, this will happen to you, whether it's a close friend or, a significant other, or, and that's a problem. If I was talking to somebody recently about this, one of our followers on Instagram, we were messaging back and forth, and she jokes on there all the time about sober dating, and people are, she's going to remain single because she can't find any decent people. I'm like, sober dating's tough, real dating's tough enough. But sober dating, again, you put all your, it's like this person's sober and so is this person. This person's got 2 years and this person's got 12, or vice versa, or whatever it is. There's no guarantees. I mean, and everyone should be a little bit, are you okay over there?
Right. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, and I went through it too, man,
Oh, yeah.
The suggestion is you wait a year to get into a relationship. I waited 5. And I was told that, she was sober as well and had about as much time as me and blah, blah, blah. And it was all bullshit. And, that fell apart fairly quickly.
Right.
And she had to go. And that's all I'm going to get into with that. But, yeah, I was lied to, too. So I understand both sides of this story.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah, you understand it from that side, too. And I've had, I mean, I had that 2 people, that I was spending time with that drank, and the one that I called you on, I'm like, this can't even be. I'm like, maybe I'm just imagining it. I remember you telling me, you're not fucking imagining that. You know what alcohol tastes like. I'm like, really? Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you're sober. You're not delusional anymore. Well, not as delusional. So
I was just about to say, really, you're going to get, and then in my head, I was, you're going to give me that, like, not as delusional. Yeah. Okay, that's cool.
No, of course not. Right.
So, are we good on that? I think we kind of aired our aired our own brains out.
Yeah, as good as we can get at the moment. Okay. Now it's up to him.
Exactly. And just so everyone knows, as much shit as we just talked there, and maybe a little bit of whatever you guys heard in our voices is true, it's real, it's we have the same emotions, but when it really comes down to it, we would do whatever we could to help him.
Oh, yeah.
Anyone like that, we would do whatever we can. So yeah, I mean, we will anything we can do to help him, especially obviously his wife during this time, anything like that. That's what we were taught to do, and that's what we do. So,
yep.
All right. So, one thing, and I realized that when I was listening through last week's episode, we talked a little bit about, surprisingly, the slip versus like relapse and stuff like that. And we touched on the fact that we were going to talk about triggers again and what they meant, and the reason I wrote it down again is because the Sober Girl podcast I've been listening to, and that word's been brought up a lot with her and the people that she talks to, which is fine. Everyone, it's a buzzword that people use, but you and I have our own opinion of what a trigger is and what we do about it. So I thought, especially with the holidays, because so many people are talking about the holidays, so much drinking, all those things are true. But people are talking about triggers. So why don't we talk about that a little bit? Do you want to give maybe an explanation about what your mindset is about what a trigger is and how you feel about it?
Well, yeah. Quite simply, if you go back and listen to the episode with the little gun on it, and I will reiterate. In my mind, a trigger is nothing more than an excuse. I could be triggered I'm triggered by things constantly, all day, every day. And if I want to use those as an excuse to get fucked up, I will. I don't use them as an excuse. I get triggered, I get a little emotion, and then I move the fuck on. I'm not a big proponent of triggers. Again, I think they're excuses. I was triggered. No, you weren't. You wanted to fucking get loaded. And quite frankly, there's times I do. We're talking about our mutual friend. I think Kathy texted me at one point about him that he's been, doing coke and going to strip clubs. And I was like, quite frankly, a little jealous. I want to go do some coke and go hang out with strippers. I want to do some coke with some strippers. I want to do their coke. I don't. Play that tape through, man. Yes, I had that thought, and then I went, nah, I don't want to go hang out with strippers. No, I don't want to go do coke. No, I don't want to drink vodka. No, I don't. Because I like my little setup here, and I'm going to lose it all if I do that.
Right.
Trigger. The only thing that triggers me is everything. It's what I do to it. It's how I react to it. And thankfully I have the tools today that I don't react to it. I go, yeah, made me feel something. Oh, well, my feelings don't matter. Right. My emotions don't matter. My principles and my whatever, my morals. I hate that word. Keep me on the fucking straight and narrow, man. Do the next right thing, no matter what my emotions tell me. Yeah, so that's what I feel about triggers.
and I'm going to explain my thoughts here, but I'm also going to flip back. I can't remember what that. I'm going to try to find the episode number. I forgot it was the one with the. God, that was one of our older episodes.
The little pop gun.
Yeah, but so one of the things that Mike and I had talked about, and yeah, and I'll find it here in a second, so I get the episode number, because it was actually, that episode was kind of funny because Mike and I went, episode 7. My God.
Yeah, I knew it was an early one.
April. That was April 9th. Wow. We were just
right. Yeah, the sound quality will suck, but the words are still good.
You know what? In a couple of those episodes back then, the sound quality was pretty decent. We got lucky every once in a while, But yeah. So go back when we were young and had no idea, had less of an idea what we were doing from a podcast standpoint, and plus it was it's been that's 8 months ago, so who knows. But it was episode number 7. We go into a little bit more of a kind of a ranting about them. But the whole point behind that, we told a couple of stories about it, and Mike's opinion of that it's it's an emotion and it's a response and all those sort of things. And we use the word uncomfortable a lot of times when we were telling some of the stories. And that's how I've always looked at a trigger. There's nothing in the world that could make me drink or use, even though I don't use. There's nothing in the world that can make you drink or use except for you. So
right.
It's a circumstance. You want to talk about a big trigger. I mean, our mom just died, and right. All it's been fucking busy and it's stressful, and we're trying to sell the house, all the shit that goes on, plus dealing with normal life. And then now we get, so we could even say that, our mom just died. Something else happened, whatever's, work sucks. And then now a very, very dear friend of ours, relapsed and is fucking up his life, where we feel triggered. Okay. Well, no, no, and no, because the thing of it is that when these things come up, and I think we talked about no bad examples in that too. So this individual now became an example. It's not a good example,
yes,
or no. It's a bad example, but it's an example that we can learn from, you know?
Yep.
So it's on the surface, it seems like a bad example, but it's not. It's a usable circumstance, because neither Mike nor I want to be in the situation that this dude's in right now, especially not after the amount of time that he should have had, you know? So it's an uncomfortableness. And that's the way I look at it, is that I just don't like the word. Nothing can trigger. To me, it implies that there's something outside of me that's going to make me do something. It's more or less it's inside of me. It's my uncomfortableness. Well, why am I uncomfortable? Am I in a place I shouldn't be? Am I doing something I shouldn't do? Have I not done the fucking work? Have I been too lazy?
Yep.
You know what? I'm gonna put this. I'm gonna get a picture of that and put it up on the wall. So when we're talking and doing this stuff, we're gonna use this all the time. I love it now. It's actually fun. But But so seriously, if we're not in the right mindset, spiritually fit, all those sort of things, nothing triggers you. Triggers like an event happening that could make you do something. It make you feel. Nobody can make you feel. If you feel some way, what are you not doing right because you feel that way? Or where are you that makes you feel that way? Get the fuck out. Talk to somebody. Do something. Don't allow this feeling to do something to you. So yeah, there's no such. I felt that from the start, and I don't know where I got it from, but I know you and I don't know, were we taught that about triggers? I don't remember people using a term that much, but I remember.
I mean, yeah, you know, the way we were brought up, you know, again, yeah, that wasn't when I was first introduced to the program and out in California and all that stuff. Yeah. Again, triggers was a big thing. And you need to watch out for them.
Right.
No, yeah, not the way we were brought up. That, again, an excuse. Like you said, an outside force making you do something that you don't want to do. I don't fucking think so. No. There are no outside forces that can make me do something I don't want to do.
Right.
You know, the only thing that can make me do something I don't want to do is me. And I did it over and over again. You know, the guy, I'm not going to drink today. Next thing, he's pounding his fist on the bar. How did I do this again? Because you fucking did it.
Because you had no defense. You were too lazy. You didn't do the fucking work.
Right. Yeah.
Which is
didn't build those dams up around you to keep those triggers out.
Well, and we had talked about that specifically when Mom died, when we were doing that episode, that we were joking about it, but you know, saying that we and I think I brought it up, you know, we trained for, 12 and a half years for this, but that is, you know, we have 12 and a half years of experience to be able to deal with our mom's death, this close individual to us relapsing, anyone relapsing, you know, bad work situation, somebody fucking around with you, somebody lying to you in a relationship like you dealt with, you know, at 5 years.
Yeah.
You know,
somebody that I had feelings for bringing drugs into my house.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were there. I opened up my medicine cabinet and there they were. And I could have taken them and I didn't because I fucking didn't want to. Well, I did want to, but, you know, I didn't because I knew what would happen. Yep.
Well, and that's what a couple of the episodes, and again with the Sober Girl podcast, I've been listening to all her episodes, and I do enjoy her mindset. They do talk a lot about, you know, triggers. They talk a lot about she's you know, again, a little bit. She's not anti AA. She just had a weird experience with it. So I think I told you that she read through a book by Russell Brand, and I mean he talks about the steps in his own words type of thing. But whatever. I mean, she's got some good things that I don't think that we line up with her 100%, but I think it'd be a great conversation, you know, at some point, you know.
Looking forward to it.
So, but with that, I mean, that's where it kept coming up, and I had written it down anyhow, but then it was just like trigger. It was almost, I don't want to say getting on my nerves, and I'm like,
because was it starting to trigger you?
Wouldn't that be the worst fucking thing in the world? Why did you drink? Because somebody kept using the word trigger. So wait a second. You were triggered over the word trigger. Yes, that motherfucking word. Yep. But yeah, I was just starting to, you know, because it makes me cringe because I don't know, it's a crutch, it's an excuse, and I like the way you said that.
Yeah,
you know, it's something for somebody to lean on. It's identifying, saying that made me do it, rather than looking at yourself and saying, nope, it's all me. I'm the one that did it. We can look at this on the good end too, and we're not looking at all negatives. When we do something well, yes, we need to acknowledge that we were helped, but we have to take responsibility for what we do well. Also, it's the same way.
Absolutely.
There's no outside influence that makes me get up every morning, earlier than I normally want to do my reading and all those different things. Same thing with you. There's no outside influence that stopped you from taking those drugs that day. It was you.
Yeah, exactly. Personal responsibility. Imagine that.
Right.
Yeah. Again, we spent our entire lives blaming others for our problems when we were the problem. And once we figured that out and we started working on it, we have less problems today.
Right. Well, and that's the main thing. And I hope everyone understands that. It's not that we don't believe that people could use a word like that. It's we would rather have ourselves specifically and hopefully have other people take a look at the fact that it isn't. It's an inside job, right? We got to take care of ourselves.
Yep.
It's an emotion. That's all that it is. It's not an outside thing. It's your reaction to something that's going on. It's your emotions. It's you. So if you're mindful of that, then you never have to worry about anyone. You don't have to worry about being triggered, being forced. Unless somebody beats you up, knocks you unconscious, and dumps either pills or booze down your throat, that's the only time that you could be made to drink. So,
somebody knocks me out and shoots me up. I'm keeping my sobriety date.
That's a freebie.
Yeah. But if I'm hanging out, downtown in some place where I shouldn't be hanging out, and it happens, well, then maybe I'll have to.
Right.
But I'm sitting in my living room and somebody breaks in, that's the freebie. If I'm someplace where I shouldn't be and that happens, that's not a freebie.
Right.
Personal responsibility.
Well, let me just make sure I understand this. If this ever happens, so you're saying that drugs are expensive, right? Okay,
they are.
So somebody's going to break into your house and give you their drugs.
It's like Halloween, man. All these parents are worried about, they're gonna give my kids gummies. No, they're not. They're fucking keeping them for themselves. I'm a drug addict. I ain't sharing with anybody.
Yeah, that was a meme that I put up there around Halloween too. People got a kick out of that. That was one of the ones that rocketed to the top too. So it's just. Again, it's funny, but then now we're dealing with real drug addicts and real alcoholics. But I just wanted to make sure, so if that ever happens to you, yes, your story is going to be somebody broke in and shot you up. I just want to make sure just so I know the story. I want to be ready to co-sign that story for you.
Right. Well, and I'm 99.999% sure that that's not going to happen.
Right. I'm just saying that when it does, I'm going to be.
When, not if, when.
Right. So when, because it's so if it's an unmanageable thing, I'll just throw the when in there. So when it happens, I'm just going to try to put the math together and make sure it adds up.
So. Okay. Well, good. Okay. All right. I appreciate that.
That's what friends are for. So you
right.
we were just talking about readings and stuff like that. And I had a note on here because we talk about what we do in the morning and stuff like that. And the thing that made me think about this was when we were talking last week about a couple of the normies and that friend of mine that I had told you that I met on a dating app and we're just friends, but I gave her a couple of book ideas because she was looking for, things like that to read. Do you want, because I don't know, have we ever given a complete list of the books that we read in case anyone's interested?
I think we have, but we can certainly do it again. I mean, we've talked about the 24-hour book plenty of times. That was the one that we read at the Keating Center for our morning meditations. Right. And that's the one that we have read every day for the last 12 and a half years.
And that's a Hazelden book.
Right. I pretty much, I think all the ones we do are Hazelden.
I think you're right. I'm looking at my phone.
Well, I know again, I rotate the third one. I've done that for a very long time, probably 10 years for sure. Because the second one I read is God Grant Me. That one, it's since I found that at about, around a year or so sober. That one I've read every day as well. And then I rotate. And I mean, at one point, my daughter gave me a book and I do not remember the name of it. But it was basically meditation readings, the same format, but it was for atheists and agnostics, and it was fucking awful.
I thought you were going to say fucking awesome. Right. I didn't expect fucking awful.
No, it was awful. It was really bad. It was a lot of psychological stuff, which I don't go in for. Again, a lot of triggers and stuff like that. But I read it twice. So for 2 years, I read that book every morning. Because, I again, the end of the big book, what is it? Without contempt prior to investigation. Right. So, and there's been a couple of those, and I can't remember what the other ones were either, but, there was a couple of them that I didn't like. They didn't work for me, and I read them for 2 years. I read them twice because I wanted to make sure, maybe I missed something the first time. So I'd do it again. And those were rotten years. Right now I'm in the third one I'm doing right now is Keep It Simple, and I'm going through it for the first time. I think I started it first of the year, so I'll be starting it for the second time very shortly.
Yeah,
and I like that one.
So do I. You know, what's funny is that the first 3 books that you just mentioned, and I didn't read the awful atheist one. I never read that one.
Right.
But so yeah, and they're all Hazelden books. So yeah, the 24-hour book, Always, God Grant Me is you're the one that told me about that one. So whenever you started reading it, I think probably a year later I started reading it, or somewhere in that time frame. And then I was reading out of off the website In the Rooms, and they would email me a daily reading. So I did that forever, and then the daily reading stopped coming because it used to just come automatically every morning. So whatever time in the morning, it's like by the time I get up, it was there. And then so I did that for from the time when I was back in Ohio up until like probably 2 years ago. So then that stopped. So I went on the website, and then I was able to get it on the website every day. And then again, I've been reading it for so long. It was probably 5 or 6 years I was reading it. It just got to be, I'm like, I've read all this shit. I'm just done, So I started reading. I picked up one, looked into one, and I can't remember what it was. It was awful. I read it for like 2 days, and I'm like, fuck this. And then Keep It Simple was the one I chose after that. And then I thought that you read that one. So yeah, that's the one. I've been reading that one probably for 2 years, maybe. Okay. And then there's one other one that I read, another Hazelden book. It's called A Day at a Time. So, but same thing. It's structured when you look at it. It actually looks like, because I popped into that. I've got them right next to each other on my phone. So sometimes I'll pop into that one accidentally before the 24-hour book. Then I'll go to pop in again. I'm like, oh, fuck, I read that one first. It doesn't matter. But I mean, they're structured the same way. The covers don't look the same, but the reading, how the reading is set up in the 24-hour book is the same way. And then the only other thing that I do every single day is I look at my sobriety counter. So I mean, I'm reading 4 different things, but actually no, I'm reading 5 different. Reading out of 1, 2, 3, 4. No. Yeah, 4 different things plus. God, I lost track because they're in 2 different places. But so 4 different meditation books, and then I look at my sobriety counter every day, and that doesn't take me more than doing that every morning takes me 15 minutes. So and I do a short set of prayers. That's it.
Yeah. Pretty much me too. I will throw in. I know I did daily reflections. I liked a lot too.
I don't remember that. That might have been. I might have popped into that at one point. I don't remember, but there was.
It's a good one too. Just throwing it out there. That's another one too. Like you said, the In the Rooms were Day at a Time. I haven't gotten to that one yet. Yet. Yeah. There's still a couple that I haven't delved into. And again, sometimes they don't work for me, and I continue to read them anyway because, I don't have all the answers yet. And that's important. I almost like the ones that I don't like, that don't work for me, because it makes me more mindful, and it makes me go, okay, this is wrong. This is wrong. This is wrong. And it sort of builds up the stuff that's right.
Right.
You know, I again, no bad examples.
You know what? There was and I'm not going to try to look for it now. It just made me think about it, that there was, because I replaced in the rooms and with the keep it simple, and I replaced the a day at a time one. That one was replaced with something else. The other one that I was reading was a book that had a Hazelden book, but it had all different types of addiction. So it could talk about, sex addiction or Overeaters Anonymous, all the different types of things, or it talked about Al-Anon here and there, which is fine. If it came into certain things where it was something other than AA, I would just substitute, or I would put something else in there, So it was kind of cool, because the readings meant the same. The whole structure of them was still the same. It just was talking about food versus alcohol, or whatever the addiction was. Could be talking about gambling. It's the same deal.
Right. Chronic masturbation.
Always searching for your higher power. always trying to find God.
Right.
Drinking problem? Nope. Chronic masturbation, man. It's just fucking terrible.
Right. Calling off work.
Yes.
And
why'd you call off? I rubbed it raw. I couldn't even walk. I just literally couldn't walk.
I just didn't want to stop.
Right. But yeah, I couldn't remember. I knew we talked about the 24-hour book. I just couldn't remember if we ever got into that much of a detailed one where we actually gave the names. Because like I said, it was in that individual that I was talking about that I had met. I mean, she's a normie. She's just looking for, something to just focus on, in the morning, and
make her life better.
And that's the thing. That was the other thing that I was thinking about before we started talking about chronic masturbation, was was the fact that it doesn't really matter. I mean, I can't say that it matters what you're reading, because like you always say, and I love how you say that, is that you don't meditate, but you take other people's words, other people's good thoughts, and let them roll around in your head. So
right.
And I guess maybe the better way to put it doesn't matter what type of recovery book you're reading, because I have I read all those books this morning, and I looked at my sobriety counter. I don't know how many days sober I've been today either, but I looked at it this morning. I know it's 12 years and almost 7 months, or no, almost 8 months, 9 months, whatever it is, but the days, I look at the days, every single day. I don't remember what I read, but the whole point is to your point, and you're the one that brought it up that one time, is that we're taking that time, we're settling our brains. It doesn't matter what's going on. And we put all these thoughts in there.
Right.
And it is great. I mean, sometimes I'll read the 24-hour book and it's as though I've never read that before. And this is literally the 13th time that I've read these. Other times I'm like, I remember this. I love this reading. I remember what it says. Same thing with God Grant Me. I've been reading it long enough where I remember him, but 9 times out of 10, I don't have a fucking clue what I read. But that's really not the point,
No, it's about being in the moment. Yeah. And we make ourselves stop and be in that moment. We have to focus it. We're not thinking about the shit that happened yesterday. We're not thinking about the shit we've got to do later in the day. We're just calming ourselves and being in the moment, which is huge. I have to start my day that way. I have to. Well,
and I know we've said this before. I've said it before, but there, and almost sad to say, there's plenty of times when I'm doing my readings like that, and I'm thinking about something else. I'll think about other shit because I'll say my prayers, because I do all this stuff, by myself. I'll be saying my prayers and I'm thinking about something else, and I'm like, fuck. So I'll start over, because I'm like, no, I want this. It's not even it. Yes, I need it, but I want it too, which is just as important.
Right.
So I'm like, God, whatever I'm thinking about, it's usually something stupid, or at work, or you get some fucking stupid song in your head, and I'm like, why am I doing this?
Right. Yeah, we're still working on it, folks. We do not have this down.
No, we don't. What you're saying, that we don't got this yet?
No, we ain't got it yet.
But we're not lazy though. We're doing the fucking work. That's what I heard.
We are. Yeah, that's what I heard too.
So, and man, I we had a couple of different subjects that we had talked about. The dog shit we hadn't planned on talking about, and the relapse thing we hadn't planned on talking about. I get a whole list of things that, I mean, nothing pressing or nothing like that. But, I mean, anything else that I mean this seriously, I guess, because there was, we got sidetracked on a couple of these, what I think are important things. But besides the car wash thing, which again, make sure you tell Keith I say congratulations. But any other things that you had like kind of coming up through the week or anything like that were, with the exception of your Mexico trip?
Right. No, not. That's all I'm thinking about.
So other than Mexico, then you can say your words. You can say it. It's good. Not a goddamn thing.
No, not a goddamn thing. No. Laying on the beach, eating too much food, sunning my fat ass. Yes, it's going to be wonderful.
Well, and I already have, I still have that, and I'll have to find it, but all I got to do is look through the month of December, because I post it on Facebook every year, but I'll do it on Instagram this year. The picture of the vampire sitting on the beach when he's, I'll post that. I'll post that so everyone gets to see a picture of you on the beach, but I'll post that, because that's always, I'm like, hey, here's a picture of Mike in Mexico. Oh, right. Can we use that for the episode picture next week, please?
I'm sure we can. Well, yeah, I've got several. I've got the monster and the Bride of Frankenstein laying on the beach. I've got Herman and Lily Munster on the beach.
That'd be better because Chris is going to be with you, so we can do that. That's fine. I'll post my the really white vampire myself. That's fine. That'll be cool.
Right. Yeah. And and then there's Sweeney Todd and I forget the name of the pie maker, Helena Bonham Carter. Anyway, there's a great picture of them on the beach too from the Sweeney Todd movie. Yeah.
Well, you know what? Then I'm not gonna. Silly me. I apologize for even trying to step in on that one. You got plenty of pictures that you can come up with, and that's your thing anyhow.
Oh, but,
yeah. I'm gonna post. I'll post the pale white vampire on there. But when? So is it? It's next Wednesday that you're going, right?
We're leaving Wednesday morning. We'll be back the following Wednesday afternoon.
Cool. So at some point, what we should do before we start to record on Friday, we should try to just connect one time, even for 5 minutes, to make sure that everything works.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll figure it out. Whenever it's your vacation, you figure it out, or we'll just figure it out on the fly. If it doesn't work, maybe I'll have some sort of backup plan just in case. So.
Right. Well, I mean, I'm taking the Chromebook with me, and I will obviously have my phone. There's Wi-Fi in the resort, so I don't see where there's going to be a problem. But I can use my data on my phone if I have to.
Yeah, that could get expensive. So we'll figure it out.
No. It's fine in Mexico. It's part of my plan. I can go to Canada or Mexico. Yeah, North America.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, yeah, one way or the other, right?
And if Verizon wanted to give us some money, I'd give them a plug right here.
Yes. Not yet sponsored by that phone company with a V, but if they want to sponsor us.
Right.
Yeah. See, if anyone hasn't figured it out, the reason that we dropped that ad in the middle of this is because we're doing it on purpose. We're gonna start to and let me just I'll plug this real quick. I'm not gonna tell everyone what's going on, but we've got some things that we're working on right now. I guess what I think are some big things, some exciting things. We're very happy to be able to talk about them when they come together. But one of the reasons we've been doing it for the last 6, 7, 10 episodes, whatever it is that we don't want to our mindset. And Mike, correct me if I'm wrong. We don't ever want to get in a situation where where we're trying to charge the people who listen to us. We want to have, if anything, have sponsors. Sponsor us, and that's where if we want to generate any income like that, quote unquote, to build what we're doing here, we want to do it through those means, not through our loyal listeners. So
that's right. We want to keep this free for you people.
And even like Marin, I mean, there's a certain number of like episodes, his old ones, I guess, that he sets a subscription to. But you know what? If we
they're behind a paywall.
Right. Well, here's the thing, and we reserve the right that if we get as big as Mark Marin and we're doing that sort of thing, some fucking people are going to start paying for some shit. but at that point, I think it would be understandable. But we're not there yet. So.
No, not even close.
not even fucking close. But you know what? Fuck it, man. We're having fun. I have fun.
That's all that
I have
matters.
fun with this.
And hopefully you folks are
I think
too.
they are, except for, we have one person out of how many people that isn't having one guy. Fun. So everyone else is.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, because he's not doing the work, so how's he going to have any fun?
He's too. Now, what I heard is he's too fucking lazy to do the work. That's what I heard. He's,
that's right.
Yeah,
yeah, and being lazy is no fun.
Because no fucking work gets done, right?
That's right.
All right.
Your problems just keep piling up, man. How are you going to have any fun if you're fucking lazy?
Right. All right. Well, I think on that note, we could probably wrap up. But we've had enough fun at that gentleman's expense. So, maybe not. Maybe. I know. As we say with everything else, we're not done yet. So we're probably not done with that either.
We are not.
All right, brother. I think it's your turn to roll us on out of here.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, everyone, for listening to another fabulous episode of Sober Not Mature. Please be kind to each other. Do something nice for somebody else this week. I'll be thinking about all you fuckers when I'm laying down on the beach in Mexico sunning my fat ass. But as always, please, 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 fuck off. Then keep fucking off. Keep fucking off until you get to a gate with a sign on it saying, you can't fuck off past here. Climb over the gate. Dream the impossible dream. And keep fucking off forever.
That was a good one. First of all, fabulous episode and just whatever it was. I don't know what the fuck. I was trying to figure out who you sounded like, and I don't even know. It's just fucking hilarious. I love it.
I don't know. It's my pukey DJ
No, and
voice.
I like when you do that because we do try to make fun of shit like that, and we've kind of done that along the way. So I always appreciate when you do that. So, all right, man. I think we've done. Cool. I don't know if it's good work, but we've done some work today because we've
done some work. That's all that matters.
we want.
As shoddy as it might be.
As fucking shoddy as it might be, we have accomplished some work.
We've accomplished something.
Exactly. All right, brother.
And the dog shit is cleaned up.
Yeah, it is. It cleaned up Clorox the whole bit. So, all right, brother. Obviously, we'll talk soon. And I love you, brother.
We will. I love you too.
Bye.
Bye.
As always, thank you for listening to another episode of Sober Not Mature. To access all of our content and interact with us, please visit our website, SoberNotMature.com. Thank you again for listening, and we will talk to you soon.